Alright, it's time for some 4v4 match mode analysis. This was a match that we played about a month ago now, and it was a pretty fun one because, well, I don't want to spoil the ending, but, well, yeah, I don't want to spoil the ending, so in that case, let's just jump right into it. On the USA side here on C side, I'm playing infantry, and I got some of my degenerate TeamSpeak friends with me. Solomon Hogan on armor, Stonks on air, and then Kuldouche on support. And these are probably the correct roles for us. This is probably the best role configuration for the four of us. We could maybe switch some things around. Maybe Stonks could go, and if I could do armor, Solomon Hogan on air, something like that. But this is probably the optimal configuration for us. On the other side is USSR, and I think they're probably going to do the optimal configuration as well, with Goot player on air, Goot player being probably the strongest air player in the game right now. That's going to be a difficult thing for us to contend with from our side. Ponter playing armor, spirit gun on inf, and WiC support. So it's a very high quality team over there on USSR. So this is going to be a tough one for us. So I'll jump right in then. And the first thing I'm going to call out on this match is what happens with the spawn. And it's a disaster what happens with the spawn. Now look, I always spawn back here. This is the proper place for infantry to spawn because you don't want the other units stuck behind your inf, right? You never want those squads and those trucks that have so much trouble with pathing to slow down the rest of your units, because you want your AA and your armor out in front. But look what has happened. This AA unit here, Kuldouche spawned too close to the house, and he allowed the glitch to happen to him. I'll tell you, I feel like this only needs to happen to a person once, and it'll never happen again, because it really sucks when it happens. And so we're going to see him have to delete that AA unit because it's stuck in the little gully behind the house. And that's going to damage our efforts here as Goot player comes in. So you're playing against the best air player in the game right now, and you're down one AA unit. So that is unideal. Of course, the one AA unit gets wrecked. We're a little bit light on the right side as far as AA, so I'm kind of forced to eject my infantry here. I got out ahead of everybody, and I don't want the inf to die in the trucks, so kind of an unideal thing there. I could have maybe gotten them back in, but the truck took enough damage that I didn't want that AT in there. And this reg was going to exit the truck right around there anyways. And I'll show you what I do with that reg in a second. But so he just had to delete that AA. He's going to have to call it a new one. So let that be a lesson for all new match moders. Don't spawn too close to the little house here, because you're going to get that glitch. Spawn back here, close to where I'm spawning, where support moved his spawn. It's just better. Like, you don't save any time by being like right up against that house. If anything, it just makes it harder for your units to path around, even when you don't get the glitch. That's maybe one of the only flaws on this map. Like, I think it's well known that I think this is the perfect world in conflict map. But the spawn zones, I do think, are a little bit frustrating in that regard. You have to be careful not to fall victim to that.
We're in combat.
So I'm getting myself into town, as one does when you're playing infantry. My drops are going to be a tiny bit late, only a few seconds though. I was pretty good. And this reg moved up to the beach area to get vision, and I think it's pretty safe to leave a reg here. I think it's a good idea. That line of fire isn't going to give us a very good look at anything, but this building in particular, this building gives a lot of vision on the beach. This building, the rectangular building, basically doesn't give any vision. Well, sometimes I think it does. It just depends on where the infantry sit in it. but normally the vision is not good. So you want to avoid this rectangular building unless you're just trying to saturate the area with infantry. And this one on the end probably gives the best vision. It is a sturdy building, but it's not insulated, so tanks from USSR side can just shoot at it. So I'm not going to put that reg there, because right now we have no map control up there, and so the USSR side would be free to shoot at it, and I don't want that building to die prematurely, unless the armor player specifically goes to force fire that building to deny it for whatever reason. That I don't want that building, you know, that would kill that building really quick, and I don't want that building to die this early in the game when I might want to use it later. USA can be a bit difficult in getting town because it just takes longer for everybody to get there. And right now, the problems I'm seeing, we don't have anything fortifying supermarket. I think I'm going to move this truck over to do that. And probably it's probably my fault. Like, infantry is supposed to do the bulk of the fortification. You also want to have armor, have a light tank back there, especially early in the match when there aren't really any ninja capping opportunities. You can always leave a light tank back there to kind of fortify. And I can't remember, but he may have had a light tank on this side that got killed either immediately or tried to push beach or something and got killed. But we do want to get some forts up at supermarket. Oh, and as I'm saying something, support moves on there to fortify a little bit, so I like that. So my drops were a few seconds late, but looks like the other side's drops were even later. Nonetheless, I put them way in the back just to avoid getting killed. I don't want drops to die. Air spent a lot of time in the early part of this match. Stonks denied research for a while, which is interesting. I kind of like the strat. I'm not sure. He called himself out for this being a bad idea after the match, because we didn't have anything to help us like over here or in town. But I don't know how many kill opportunities he had elsewhere. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this strategy, because we never do get research here, as far as I know. I don't recall getting research there.
We're taking heat. We're under attack.
It would be nice if we can get town, but Spirit Gun and Ponter are doing a very good job of saturating the area with infantry, and so this video isn't meant to be like an infantry guide or anything, but just to like focus on the inf roll for a second here. When you're playing from the USA side, you need to start out in these buildings back here and control these buildings. And as you control them, you can run your infantry up and use the building cover to get them into new places. It's really unlikely for you to have success if you drop your airbornes like up here and in here right away, because USSR just has kind of a natural leaning towards that side, and they're gonna kill you. So because you can see like they've like saturated this area pretty darn good already. So what you need to do is you just need to continue dropping your airborne back here and run them up. People forget that infantry in this game have legs. Don't forget about your infantrymen having legs and they can run. You want to make them run into position.
Incoming fire.
If I'm thinking back to what I wrote in my guide, you're exercising zones of control. That's really what it is. So this back here, you want to be 100% controlled USA side. So here's my next set, going right down here. So if any enemy drops come in, these guys will be able to counter them. And when I'm ready for my next round of drops, or about ready to drop my next round, I'm going to push all this infantry up. So this reg is going to keep moving up. He's going to sneak through these buildings here and probably go up there somewhere. This guy is going to probably like go to that building or something. Just looking for the strong buildings to move guys up. This guy's probably going to move up. This AT might move up or go for a cap or something. This one, sometimes this guys on this side can make it all the way over the church and into these buildings here. So you just want to keep pushing up, and a lot of times those guys are going to die, I'm not going to lie to you. But it gets them in a position, and even if you suffer some casualties, it's usually worth it. You just have to write a few letters home. That's how it goes. So I will point out that in this match right now, we are not winning, and it's not particularly close either. I remember at this point I was kind of advocating for a carpet bomb, because even though I'm starting to infiltrate this area, and I was just telling you about how I will continue to infiltrate it, a carpet bomb here would be pretty crippling to them because they don't have a great armor presence in town right now. They got the sides on lockdown with armor and support, but as far as I know, there's not tanks here that are gonna um, hurt us. So we could use our medium and our light here, as well as the three AA units ready. And even this light could push up, this light could push up, and this AA unit, because we're going to be done fortifying soon. So we could make a reasonable approach on town soon if we could just dislodge some of this infantry. I could dislodge this infantry because this is what I do. I'm an inf guy, so this is what I do. I will eventually win this fight. Right? Like we can pretty much figure that I'm gonna keep pushing my guys up, and it's gonna work out. And even if all the buildings are dead, eventually I'm gonna be able to, get the enemy inf out of town. But we could do it a lot faster if we just drop a carpet bomb here and kill all their buildings and their sniper and their airborns and whatnot. See, if your Ponter or your Spirit Gun, why is this guy still sitting here? Why is this guy still sitting here? Look at all this. They can run these guys into position. We probably wouldn't be able to kill them. So that would be my advice to them. Would be like, don't just let your airborne squad sit here. They've got legs. Move this guy into this building is a strong building. Then move them into this one for a moment, and then have them sprint across to get into these. And at the very least, it'll force air to take a moment to kill. Or I will need to use my own airborne's direct arties to get them out of there. Because that's what I'm going to do. When I push these guys up, their airborne arties recharge, and I just drop them on the buildings where these stationary airbornes are. Always be building hopping, always be pushing forward. Just drop in the back and have your guys run forward.
They're firing at us.
But so we're not going to get the carpet bomb here. Spoiler alert. But remember what I said about how I'm probably going to move this reg up to these buildings. That's exactly what I'm doing. I made them pit stop in there for a second, then I moved them up. Now they got to deal with this, right? I mean, they got to direct arty it, but now they're spending their direct arties on me instead of pushing up and moving where they want to get to up in my side of town. This building's almost dead, so I'm gonna have to get that for a second. In a second, you're gonna have to move him. But also, take a look at these buildings here. Theoretically, I should not have put this reg here, and I never want to for long because they're kind of strong when they're getting shot by air or tanks or something. But arties on this map can usually take them out immediately. Like I just one-shotted that building with arty. Remember that on Seaside, the arty shots always come from around this area of the map. Like, imagine the airborne direct arty units like that actually shoot the arty over here, and they kind of have that angle to them. So when it comes in, imagine that angle. So you want to place the arty at the base of the building, like back here, so that both shells will hit. So if you want to kill this building, this one's a little bit harder because it's got insulation on either side of it. Like this building might absorb some damage or something, but you want to put that arty like right about there, and a lot of the times you can one-shot it. Like I said, that one is more insulated, so it's harder. The one on the end, I almost never put infantry in there, if only for a second maybe, because I know it can just be one-shotted by airborne arty real quick. So I'm moving this guy like I said I would. There's not a lot of good buildings around here. He almost died. But, I mean, that's kind of a good thing because I'm nearly dislodging those guys. Also, I'll point out that we are losing really bad. We have nothing going on the sides here. I mean, I think we're going to try Beach, but group player's too good. 1AA, I think, trying to cap Beach is not going to cut it. We got two coming in. But here come the tanks. I tried, while I was focused elsewhere, I tried a sneaky cap at town, I think, and it did not work. But see, I was solo capping. And I'll put my armor player on blast here for a second. There's just not a lot of armor units in the field. Like, there's one heavy tank and a light. And there's a light over there, but we need kind of like lights in town.
Unit lost.
And oh no, we're gonna decap.
In combat. One less
Bringing in
Yeah,
your
we're gonna
units
decap here in a
ASAP.
second. Yeah, I think it ends up working out.
Casualties.
But I think that was an unintentional decap.
Enemy is
But look,
KIA.
so my plan continues. I said I was eventually going to figure this out, and I've just about got it.
Enemy defeated, sir.
Got my reg on the other side. I think that reg is the one that was over here before. It's still alive. It was in that building, and I kept moving it up because I knew that I didn't want to stay in that building for long. And we finally got a town cap, so that's good for us. I think it's not going to last, but I got shot by a sniper or something there, or the machine gun on that airborne. Hopefully that airborne just gets into the building there. We're trying at beach, but nothing is really doing.
Everyone's aboard. Incoming fire.
Goot player in this match has a lot of success splitting up his guys, splitting up his choppers, and he just like camps me at beach. So my normal attacks at beach don't really work. And our armor player here has got some lights in, and this is good for us, right? I think the only issue here is that our support player is kind of weak in the middle at the moment because probably he got killed by tanks or something in our last push. We might still get it. I don't know, but I'm dislodging the last remnants of infantry from the town. USSR infantry has done some. I like these drops at gas station. I do. Partially because I believe I remember that he's already got defensive drops up here. There's not a lot of buildings left back here. I don't know. If I was him, I might have dropped some more back here before gas because, well, then again, I think he gets gas here. So I don't know. I kind of like it. Kind of don't. Mixed bag. Depends on how you use it. Because I mean, the other thing is, my team is not reacting to this. Like we should have been reacting to this. Before I even saw it, I had these drops down up here. So my drop timer is way off. Like it's going to be a long time before I can drop over here. Our air is not looking at this, and he's going to get a cap on it. And we have literally 0 units in the vicinity that are capable of doing anything. We've only got 2 tanks in the field, 3 AA units. So hopefully those guys are respawning soon. But basically, there's nothing we can do about this for a little while. And that's very problematic because we are losing bad.
Hostile target destroyed. They're firing at us.
So we need this stuff to die, and I'm getting desperate. There are not enough light tanks in the field. At this point, there's 2 heavies in the field. Remember, armor players, remember this. You should always have at least a 2-to-1 ratio of light tanks to heavy tanks for match mode armor. Some exceptions apply, notably hometown. If you're playing USSR side, you can generally have more heavy tanks, and it's a good idea. But for seaside, you really want to follow pretty closely the 2-to-1 lights to heavies ratio. And like I said, I'm getting desperate, so I'm dropping my own light tanks over here as infantry. Because I'm like, we have literally nothing. I saw this heavy tank come down. We have nothing that is going to take gas station back. My airborne are still recharging because I just dropped over here. I'm gonna try and keep these guys alive at research. Trying to make something happen because we can't get anything going in town. We can't get anything going at beach because air is camping it. So we saw that I did that deep drop back here. If you're gonna assault research, you can drop back here. Usually the USSR will have their defensive drops closer to the action. Now, once this becomes more popular, people are going to start moving their defensive drops back here. I've been doing it a little bit myself. Like, I've been having a defensive drop way back here. I've been having one up here, maybe one over here. So it's just a matter of like trying to drop where you think the other guy is not at. Which, maybe someday we're going to end up dropping all the way back here and running them in. But remember, your infantrymen have legs. Important to remember. Even if it takes them an extra 35 seconds to get where they need to go, if they're alive, that's better than them being dead on arrival. So this is why I don't like what I did. That's 2 Hellfires about to deny me from getting this cap. And that's just frankly sad. Like, we just were not in sync with our spawns. We just spawned 3 AA heavy AAs and 4 light tanks. So these light tanks, that's 20 TA that I wasted, and it's basically getting us nothing. Got tank busted. I wasted 20 TA to decap, basically. That heavy tank was eaten alive there. I mean, we're basically about to lose this, right? We're in bad shape.
Incoming fire.
They've got one of your units.
They have all but supermarket capped.
We're under attack.
This is going to stop the bleeding. See, this operation here was huge.
Unit lost.
Thank goodness I did that. So we're stopped at what, like 98%? I still got a reg up here somehow. It's going to die, I think, because I'm not paying attention to it, but yeah, I mean, they've cleared us out of town, basically.
10 minutes remaining.
The buildings are dead. This whole section is dead. All these buildings are dead. It's going to get more difficult for me to handle this, but what we need is light tanks. We got another heavy tank coming. What we need is light tanks. I'm looking to get this cap here at gas, but I remember he was telling me, get on if you want, but I can't wait for you because we're about to lose. And he was right. If I had just paid a little more attention, I would have gotten in on the cap, but I was microing somewhere else. Let's see. I'm going to try and deny these drops here. See if I can get them. I think I'm going to get them. But still, they got more drops over there, so this is a difficult enterprise for me. I'm going to deny this for just another second. Like, seconds count at this point, right? Because if they just get like one or two arrows here for even a moment, like they got 2 arrows, like we need to decap something right now. Or cap town. I think we're going to get town. And we're going to decap beach. Look at these light tanks. I love these light tanks. Now, I dropped this daisy cutter thinking we were about to lose. Shame on me. It would have been much better if I dropped it over here too, because they got a huge blob coming, but I think I just saw this lodged infantry, and I wanted to dislodge them. So I killed them. I'm getting camped over here at my spawn with enemy air. I mean, that's just despicable. He's just a general and a captain heavy chopper camping the beach. And this reg that has been sitting there for a long time, remember him? He's doing some good, providing vision, maybe taking the occasional pot shot at choppers. But he's going to help cap beach now because we really need it. So I just had a really clutch direct arty there that is going to help deny the cap. And then Solomon Hogan is going to have a clutch deny with his light tank. Just in time, the choppers come in. Deny that cap. I mean, we are at 99.9% here. Like, we can lose at any moment. This light tank is just going to die up here.
We're taking heat.
If you need more units, just make the call.
We finally got beach under control a little bit. I need to spread this inf out so it survives if there's like a TA strike on the point. But I think we're microing a lot. I mean, so this is what needs to happen in these instances. Like, this light tank spam is great. What needs to happen here is we just need more units in the field. And whenever I'm in this situation with my teams, oh, I'm glad I saw that airborne there. I don't know if I'm actually, the Artie's actually going to kill it. Yeah, because he already ran over there, but I did see it. But in these situations, you just need 100% micro. This is why, like, I'll start yelling in game. I say, micro up, let's go. 110% micro. Get more units on the field. Cap everything you can. Decap a little bit. This is when it all needs to happen. This is when I need a lot of TA. I'm going to deny these at least one drop there. But look, I'm still doing the same thing. I'm dropping in the back and pushing them up. It's going to get a little bit different, I guess. I think this guy's going to die here, but so we got this is another thing you need to do. I don't know if we've like, this is pretty common practice in match modes these days, so I think a lot of my viewers here will know to do this, but when you're in match modes, heavy artillery barrages on points that you know need to be capped are pretty good. And the reason is this. In pubs, they may not matter that much because they just kill a few like light units usually, which is not a big deal. And in pubs, you don't have that same coordination with your team, such that when you kill the light units, your air will sweep in and kill the heavy units. In match modes, you do have that coordination. Well, hopefully you do. So that's why it can be so good to just use 14 TA and soften up the AA. Like, this might not even die, but at least it's going to be damaged, right? And that's not one of the better arty barrages I've ever seen, but just wanted to point out that that's usually good practice. Spirit Gun's making some good attempts to keep us off gas station, which I definitely like. It's just in the case that he's not going to be able to cap it, I'm worried about decapping. Because at this point they got like an 80% lead, 6 minutes left, they can just bleed us out. He's going to direct arty this, and it's going to be gnarly. I think our air player calls it out to tell us to move. I don't move in time, support does. Oh, that reg that's been with me since the start of the game just died to a cluster bomb. Sad. I didn't mention it when it was happening, but I made a little incursion up here. Normally, Goot player would not let this happen, but I did it at a very busy time in the game for him. So I was just able to sneak it in there while he was occupied with more important things. And this is nice because this will just damage those light units as they're coming through. Just having those ATs up there just create little problems for the enemy. And so we got 5 minutes left, and we're still down like 75%. This is not looking good for us. Again, I'm kind of getting a little desperate dropping light tanks on my own. This is not exactly a good practice if you're infantry, but in this game I was kind of the TA dump, and I had some TA to spend, and we needed more units on the field. So I was dropping light tanks. But that's what you need in these cases. You need more units on the field, more units on the field, more units on the field. Basically no reason to even have a heavy tank on the field. I won't say no reason, because usually I like to have at least one if I can keep them alive. I'll have one heavy tank back here, something to shoot the AA and have it ranked up a little bit. Before you know it, it's kind of like an anchor. But, I mean, we are just fighting for our lives, so we just need more units in the field. Deny some of those airbornes. I'm not going to get them all. But, I mean, this is another thing. So I like that Spirit Gun's getting infantry back here for vision. So now they have vision on this, which is good for them. Like, that's going to help them. They should be able to use that to direct their TA better. And I'm not going to be able to dislodge it properly. He's going to end up getting a lot of infantry back here. But at this point, like, we're just kind of in a ultra-fast cap mode. That the other team's not going to be able to stem the tide of it, I think.
You got casualties.
I just let an APC with an AT in it die, I think. In my defense, Goot player's pretty fast. But look at this, I got a little cap on TV.
You got casualties.
That really shouldn't happen. So here's how I would say that this should not have happened. When I say you drop your infantry in the back and you push it forward, that's what should have been happening here. There should have been enemy paras in here to kill my my reg and AT. This AT shouldn't have survived for as long as it did. And air can certainly like attack it, and you can see that air's been attacking the buildings. But I'm reasonably good at infantry, so I know how to hop between buildings while he's reloading. So while his choppers don't have missiles in them, I just hop out for a second and get into a new building. So it makes it difficult for air to fully get rid of him. But if say 15 TA were used on airborne infantry drops back here, gotten into these buildings, maybe this one here looks like it's still in good shape. This one holds up for a reasonably long time. Even in the forest back here, USSR has good reason to drop defensive airbornes. That's how you would have dislodged that infantry, using their airborne direct arties.
Copy that.
And like I said, I kind of like having this infantry back here for vision, but we've pushed the front upwards. So with them having vision back here, that's not really where they need to be dropping TA right now. they could be dropping TA back there if they had town under control and they were choking us out, and we were like frantically pushing into town. But we got town right now. I mean, we have a reasonable amount of control.
You got casualties.
And so I'm again dropping light tanks because we're kind of desperate for units on the field. I'm dropping airbornes up there. This guy's gonna get the cap, which is gonna be real nice. Just beat Scoot player by running over the infantry there. They're going for beach again. That's a nice heavy air support in town. That's gonna help us maintain control of town. We're gonna get another cap there to help us with the TA issue. Oh, but they TA'd us, so I think we still might get this cap if I move my airborne up. I might be able to cap research here soon with my light tank. And this is another important thing that I want to point out. I know we're coming up on the end here, and I'm still talking a lot, but having light units that you've dropped in airborne infantry and whatnot, fortifying these points that you recapture is pretty big when you're in these spam moments like this. It's a pretty big deal if you can get like a machine gun fort up or something, so the enemy can't just rush in and basically do what we're doing. I mean, we might get like another TV cap here or something, or we might put a get beach again, just because there's no forts going up anywhere. I understand it's easier said than done, but especially if you're infantry or something, you know, spare a reg. Well, this is exactly what Spirit Gun's doing here. Actually, so I'll call that out. Spirit Gun's doing the right thing here. Putting a reg there on that point just to try and get some fortifications up. We're just pushing them back a lot, and that reg is going to end up dying.
We're taking heat.
And I'm doing a pretty nice job of decapping, or holding the decap on beach here with one of my airdropped light tanks. More units in the field, that's what you need. More units in the field. And we're going to get beach here. Support's looking a little light right now, but I mean, that's what happens to support when you're in moments like these, where you're just kind of like spamming.
You got casualties.
This is a gnarly sniper here that I think I'm not going to get. I think I just never get it. I don't know, I didn't put TA on there.
Unit killed.
We got another heavy air support that's going to be real nice.
Copy that. Fire mission received. Zulu 9 are out.
We're under
And
attack.
while that heavy air support kills them,
We're taking heat.
that's going to get us over the hump. We're going to get over 50% here. This is another thing you need to do. Oh, wow, USSR has no points capped right now, by the way. But this is another thing you need to do. Drop infantry where you think they're going to drop next. You know, because I saw air or something over here clearing it. Nothing is alive over here, so just reinforce things like this in your backfield. That's important to do when you're in these spammy situations, especially when I have my drops recharged. There's not a lot of other good options to drop airborne infantry right now. I can't really drop it here because they'll just all die because there's 4 enemy airborne squads here, right? Like, Spirit Gun should deny that if I try and drop back here. I'm gonna try and sneak one in, but really it's gonna be more helpful to have drops here. And I say that with 40 seconds left in the match, but if they're going to try anything crazy to get like a last-minute total dom or something, these airbornes will help protect against that. We got stonks throwing out the early GG, but I think probably there's not a lot USSR could do here to push the bar back to the other side.
Bringing in your units
We're under
ASAP.
attack.
And USSR has a lot of units on the field right now. I mean, look at their infantry presence. They got 4 airbornes back here. They got regs all along here. I think they have an airborne in here. They got a reg back here and a reg here. So they've really saturated with inf. The only thing is they're just not killing us in the places where they need to be killing us.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Like over here, right? It's a sweet victory for us, but so what I'll say was that like lots of infantry over here, but we're still managing to get caps over here because I have infantry and a light tank. Wasn't any infantry over here contesting this area, even though they probably would have succeeded, or they, you know, with just a little bit of TA help, because I had this one airborne in this building that I said I was saving for later. I have that airborne sitting there for vision, but this is only going to be able to deny like one airborne drop. A lot of times, if I'm trying to get in here to contest supermarket, I'll drop like 3 airbornes, like one here, and one here, um, because usually the other guy will only have maybe one squad available to deny one of your guys, and you'll have 2 living that can go contest supermarket. Um, in general, it's good to have these buildings here held because they give vision, and like this reg should be able to shoot the sides a little bit and shoot air flying over. Um, but it's just things weren't dying in the middle fast enough, and we managed to furiously contest the sides and push in the middle and use enough good TA. I mean, how many heavy air supports did we see me drop in here that were just like perfect, that killed their entire push, or arty barrages that killed the AA? So maybe if you're USSR, you try to be a little less predictable in that regard and try and anticipate that TA will be coming down, especially when our side was doing such a good job of sharing caps and they were dumping all the TA on me. So you know that if you're USSR, you know that one guy has all the TA to pretty much constantly just place heavy air supports on you. So you want to try and avoid that. Maybe spread out a little bit, make more good faith efforts to push from the sides here at beach, and certainly you don't want to lose this. As USSR, it's very difficult to win a game if you don't have research facility, and much of the forest is still intact. And I only have 1 airborne there, so they really weren't that far away from winning that back from us. They couldn't quite get over the hump. So yeah, but I mean, this was an extremely exciting match. We were down 99.9%, something ridiculous like that. And this might have been the best 4v4 match mode comeback I've ever seen in terms of Dombar. Maybe there's been more spectacular comebacks in harder situations or something that I've seen before, but you don't see a lot of 99.9% 4v4 comebacks. You might see in 1v1s, but this was a bit rare, I think, and pretty exciting. And I know everybody on the USA side was pretty pumped up after the game. Quick score sheet analysis, and I'll wrap up the video. I had a pretty good game. I had a darn good game, I'm going to say so myself. But also that was because my team was dropping a bunch of TA on me, so I was able to use... I mean, look at my tactical aid score. 900 tactical aid points, and that's without any nukes. I don't think we didn't have any nukes go down that game. So that was pretty fun. I think I said somewhere in this video that infantry is the guy that should usually be doing the fortifying, and I did the most fortifying, and also a lot of capping of command points. USSR got us got the top roll nod on every roll except inf. I mean, it was a pretty balanced game, I think. They're only 4 points apart in terms of total score. So each team generated about the same amount of TA. And in fact, I'd guess that USSR might have actually generated more TA than we did, because I had a pretty high score with tactical aid. And remember, when you score because of tactical aid, you don't get extra tactical aid on top of it. That would be nice if you did, but you don't. So I reckon a higher percentage of our score was TA. So they had a bit of a TA advantage. Couldn't convert it. Yeah, what an exciting game, and I hope to have some more like it. We should get some more match modes going as soon as we can. GG, boys.